All right, for this video, we're going to cover the Zillow rental application. So the application process that is baked into Zillow Rental Manager. In a future video, I will cover the Zillow rental lease because I keep hearing from consulting clients that it's like 24 pages, which I understand and totally appreciate can be overwhelming. But for this video, we're going to cover the application process, and specifically with that, the agenda for this video is going to be tenant stats. So what an average American tenant looks like. That way you kind of know what you're looking at when you get the data back, what is normal, what is red flag. The second thing we're going to cover is just some basic FAQs around the Zillow rental application and questions that I'm getting a lot in my consulting calls around it. And then third, we are going to look at real examples of the Zillow rental application, as well as the background check and the credit/income check. This thing is itchy. The first stat is the most important stat, and that is that 35% of the United States rents. This is as of 2023, but we know that housing affordability continues to be a problem, so there's reason to believe that stat will continue to grow. Now, this stat is more about you as the landlord than it is as the tenant. The rest of the stats will be about the tenants, but the reason why we care about this is that if you're having trouble getting your place rented, it's likely not a rental problem, it's likely a marketing problem. So you just need to make some tweaks probably to get your place rented, whether that's adjusting platforms that it's on or the way that you talk about it. Okay, the second stat, for some reason, I'm having a lot of trouble explaining, but what you care about with this is that the tenants that are coming in is their household income, their combined household income. So whether that's one person, two people, three people, is it 3 times or higher what the monthly rent is going to be? And the reason why I'm saying this is because their monthly rent should be 30% of their total income. So you want to see that their income is 3 times or better what the monthly rent is going to be, or at least that's an average. I will say in real estate, it's becoming more well known that this rent to income ratio is going as high as 50%. 30% was always what we based it off of in the past. And it looks like, Zillow is still saying that's the average rent to income. But I would say that we're seeing this change a little bit, unfortunately, because the American employee is not making as much as they used to and housing costs are going up. So that's stat 2. Stat 3, credit scoring. So if you're seeing someone that has, excellent is 800, very good is 740 to 799, good is 670 to 739. So that's kind of what you're looking for as far as a credit rating. And then the average credit score in the United States is 698. All right, 28% of rental applicants will have a criminal record. That's more than a quarter of your applicants will have some kind of criminal record. 72% of renters will have a pet. This is why I so strongly encourage landlord hosts to allow for pet. Note that is a lovely, wonderful, innocent dog and not a malicious, horrible cat. Learn what kind of damage a cat can do to your rental. Check out this video. Check out how fun my Labor Day was. Generally, single people are more likely to rent than couples. This is sort of interesting because it might dictate what kind of property you buy. Single people need smaller places, so condos, townhomes, 2-3 bedrooms or less, but those properties don't appreciate as well as a bigger property. So I don't have like a super solid answer on that, but you are more likely to stay rented, I think, in smaller properties versus bigger properties. And the reason for that is because there's more demand for smaller properties. If you have learned something from this video, please like it. It will help the channel grow, and it will also help get this content in front of other people that are trying to fast track their rental property experience as well. And if you want more content like this, please subscribe. Cover some quick FAQs. The first being, what does it cost? Well, so for the landlord, it doesn't cost you anything to be on Zillow Rental Manager, and it doesn't cost you anything to allow applicants to come in and apply for your property. Possible upgrade that you could pay for on Zillow Rental Manager would be the premium account. That's $29.99 a month. And what they're promising you with that is that your listing will stand out more and get more views. That is more a setup on when you elect to be on Zillow Rental Manager versus allowing people to apply. So if you allow people to apply, it doesn't cost the host landlord anything, but it will cost the tenants $35. So the tenants from their side, they pay $35, and then Zillow runs the background check, the credit check, the housing check, etc., and then sends it to the landlord. And the tenant can use this as many times as they want in 30 days. What is the turnaround time for this? Saying not more than a day, so not more than 24 hours, you should have this report back. In my experience, it has been much faster than that. And then let's talk about some of the identification checks that they have on it. So I know that but I was a little bit surprised as the landlord host when they were requiring my social security number. I think that maybe makes people uncomfortable, but the reason why they require the landlord host to have that is because you're getting a lot of credit information from the tenants, and so they want to make sure that you are also a responsible person and not a bot that's scraping that information. So that's why they're requiring proof that you are a human being. And then as far as what the tenant is required to provide Zillow, they are required to provide personal information, household information, residence history, income history, and verification. So current income type, employment details, contact info, monthly income. Quick interruption to say if you're feeling overwhelmed by your rental, the different platforms, how to set it up, how to get started, I offer consulting for this. I offer a 1-hour package, a 2-hour package, a listing package, etc. Just email me. My email is on the screen and we can get going. Previous jobs within the past 3 years. Applicants are also able to upload pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, bank statements, etc. for income verification. And then additional questions that Zillow is going to ask them are, have you filed for bankruptcy in the past 7 years, and do you smoke? Okay, so for this section, we are going to look at real life examples. These come out of Zillow. Zillow has provided them. They are not from my own tenants. I would never do that to you, tenants. This is what Zillow's provided for hosts and landlords to look at to know what the application process looks like. Okay, so when you receive the application, in this case, we have Annabelle Whalen. It has the date and the time when she's applying, and it also has an accept button off to the right. You obviously don't want to click that yet. You want to look and see if it makes sense and if this person makes sense. So right up top for the household summary, it's only one person, but their total income is $8,000 per month. This is 2.3 times higher than what the rent is. So I think this is a little bit of that creep where we're talking about it used to be 3 times and now that number is lowering because unfortunately Americans aren't making as much. Okay, so it's down to 2.3 instead of 3. And then we have the start date, we have how many people, whether or not they smoke, and then a detailed summary of their animals. Earlier in the video, I was a bit of a cat hater. I don't really hate cats, I just had a bad experience, but it's important here to know exactly what kind of pets they're bringing in, cats or no cats, but also dogs because your insurance may not cover certain breeds. So you just want to have this outlined in the application right here. Okay, so then you continue to scroll down and you see a little bit more information about the tenant, including their email and their phone number, and then it gets into the rental application. So for the rental application, it talks about, what their position is and where they work, and then you can view that and do a deeper dive, and then you see the credit report and the background check. Down below that, we have the employment history. So things I'd be paying attention to here is how long they have stayed at a job, and then I would reach out to maybe 2 of these employers just to get a feel for how the tenant is and put exactly as much work into this as I needed. So I would say 1 or 2 checks on this, 1 or 2 calls, just to make sure that the information is consistent with what she's telling you and that she is generally a responsible human being. Same thing with the residential history. Here it will tell you how long she rented and contact information for those people, and then you got to them. And again, all of this is self-reported, so you're hoping they're giving you the right information. If they're not, you don't have to take them. You can say, I couldn't get a hold of anyone, so we're not going to move forward. Okay, screening Q&A. Have you filed for bankruptcy in the past 7 years? Do you smoke? No. Okay, and then emergency contact information. So that is the application in a nutshell. Tenant screening. So when we look at the background check, what we're going to see is we're going to see the report summary. So we're going to see a housing court record and then a criminal record. And this is done by CIC. They are a company that Zillow works with to pull these reports. And basically they go through different jurisdictions and see if there have been any charges against the tenant. I don't know. Maybe not charges, but things that they've actually been convicted of, convictions against the tenant. But that's what you're looking for. So there's one housing court record and then it goes into detail. Okay, and then the criminal record, you can see it will list the nationwide criminal scan. It talks about the details. Looks like Annabelle has been busy with her criminal activity. She graduates from a misdemeanor all the way up to attempted first-degree intentional homicide. That's not good news. That is what you are seeing in the background check, and that is what the background check looks like. And now we have an example of a fake credit report. So we have the person's name. We have when it was created, when it expires, who ran it. So in this case, it's Experian. We have that 720 credit score, which is above the national average. And then we have financial summary. So amount of times they pay on time, established monthly payments, credit used, total debt, who the creditors are, who the credit inquiries are, any kind of public records or bankruptcies. And in this public records, also you can see they're including some of the employers, and then tax liens, and then it gives a little bit of information on credit score factors. So again, this will be a case-by-case basis. You may feel better about certain tenants, or certain tenants may come in and explain their situation. You may decide to move forward with them. But I hope that the guidelines that I provided at the beginning of this video are somewhat helpful as far as trying to vet your tenant against what the average US tenant looks like. If you want a guide to Zillow Rental Manager, I recommend checking out this video here.